Hi, my name's Sean McClure, and I have the honor of serving on the board of directors for Recovery People here in Central Texas. In celebration of Recovery Month, Recovery People annually recognizes individuals who've made significant contributions towards supporting the recovery community. One of those awards is Peer of the Year Award, which is awarded to an individual or affected family member who has promoted or directly supported others in recovery from substance use and related mental health challenges using their lived experience and/or recovery support training. The award recipient must publicly self-identify as being a person in recovery from substance use or co-occurring issues and/or an affected family member in recovery. They must be, at the time of the nomination, a recovery advocate, a direct recovery service provider, such as a peer specialist or recovery house manager, and/or a recovery workforce instructor or supervisor, and they must demonstrate accomplishments that reflect Recovery People's mission, vision, and values. I am thrilled to announce that the 2023 winner of Recovery People's Peer of the Year Award is Jessica Ruiz. Jessica has been in long-term recovery since 2016 and has been a national certified peer recovery support specialist since 2021. She has a passion for collaborating with the recovery community, and her primary goal is to provide comprehensive support, training, education, unity, and enjoyment to her peers who are recovering from substance abuse. After a 23-year career as a legal assistant, she has since dedicated her efforts to recovery and helping others affected by addiction. She is now a contract specialist on the Contracts and Development team at Oxford House, has extensive field experience as an outreach worker in Austin and as the Senior Outreach Coordinator for South Texas, and has served on Recovery ATX Board of Directors since 2022. Jessica, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to receive this award today. It's an honor.
Awesome. Well, it is certainly an honor to be able to talk to you here today. When Jason reached out to me asking if I would be interested in doing these interviews, I was honestly a little overwhelmed, a little scared, because the people I've been being asked to interview and talk to are really impressive people like yourself. And I can only hope that at some point in my recovery journey, I will be honored, to receive some sort of award like this. So definitely congratulations. So to kind of get us started, I shared a little bit about your background there. So you've been in recovery since 2016. Is that correct?
It is correct. And after I took the education to become a certified peer recovery specialist, I kind of changed my recovery journey date to 2016. I work a program of abstinence, and I haven't had any mind-altering substances since January 25th, 2019. So that's my sobriety date. But I got educated and I started getting a better understanding of my personal recovery journey and so many other people's, that I was like, the time period that I got curious about recovery and a desire to want to try a different way of living was in 2016 when I started seeking out help for my addiction. And so that's why now 2016 is an important date for me.
Awesome. And yeah, and I share a very similar story there. Just as far as the timing, I've been in recovery since 2017. That's certainly not my abstinence date. That's March of this year. But as we all know, it's a journey, and
It is.
when we fall down, we just get back up again.
That's right.
Awesome. So it's really likely that there are going to be people who are new to recovery, or even haven't even taken their first steps into recovery, who might be watching this video. Do you have any advice or any words of wisdom you would share with somebody who's kind of fresh to the recovery scene?
Words of wisdom. I don't know. It really depends on who I'm talking to when I do try to find the right words, to try to be a chameleon, because everybody's so different. I look for words that people can hear, but if I draw on my own experience, I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself that I wish I wouldn't have. And so that term recovery curious is so important to me because I think that's really such good enough to get started. And like you said, you've faltered, and I know I have too. And is falter really the right word? I don't know, right? It's just a process and a journey of whatever it's supposed to look like. And so having kindness and compassion for yourself as you navigate the journey that there isn't an extremely clear blueprint for. I think it's very important for anybody trying to get started on anything, but especially a recovery journey, whatever that might look like.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and that's certainly been true for my experience in that um I have several times in my recovery journey, I've felt that I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this wrong. And a lot of comparing, what I'm doing with what somebody else is doing and what somebody else is sharing in a meeting or something I'm reading. And that did me no favors. So
Exactly, that comparison, that
yeah,
comparing myself was detrimental at times. I can relate.
yeah, absolutely. So that's a definitely great words of wisdom. Thank you for that. So as far as so that there's plenty of people who are kind of new, kind of taking their first steps. There's also going to be people watching this who have already taken several steps. Maybe they've taken 12 steps a couple of times. You know, you've been in recovery since 2016. How do you keep that flame going? How do you keep that, keep those recovery wheels moving, keeping it fresh and not like getting burnt out?
I think curious is going to be my word for the day because I think that's the an important ingredient in the recipe to keep that flame going. My recovery journey has evolved and changed, and it was very 12-step focused in the beginning. And as time has gone on, and again, always seeking out knowledge and education helps me too. I've delved into mindfulness practice and awareness and what that looks like and how I can incorporate it. Um, and I keep asking questions, gravitating towards other people who try new things. I grew up in sober living in an Oxford house, and also at a time where 12-step was the only way to a lot of people. And so I learned and I train other people that if somebody is talking about something that's either intriguing or that you disagree with, please take the time to say, tell me more. Where did you get that? Where can I find that information? Or can I go with you to this? And so I am hungry for all the different ways that other people use to keep that fire going, and take the time to learn about it. And then I try it out. And then another important factor is to not just do that alone, but to get a friend to sit down and have that conversation with and kind of dig deep into what does this mean to you? Here's what it means to me. And then just an organic, beautiful conversation always follows that. So
Awesome. Spoken like a true peer support specialist. Yeah, that just the idea we're not in this alone is so powerful. And I completely agree with you. The just one of the really common things you'll hear in the rooms is, find somebody who has what you want and ask them how they got it.
yes.
And that doesn't just start, with your first step. That doesn't just start the first time you walk into the rooms. That's you're as you progress in this journey, you're just going to continue seeing stuff that you want, out of life and see people doing so well with stuff, and ask them how they did it. That's super powerful stuff. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things we have going in the recovery community right now. And the fact that peer support like you do is so huge. I mean, it's, things going back to like Alcoholics Anonymous and all the other Anonymouses, they certainly, have always kind of leaned on that whole, we're in this together, the peer support idea. But
Yeah.
now we're actually kind of broadening that scope quite a bit more, even more into professional and really taking it outside of the rooms of the anonymous rooms, and making it a focus across the board. So that's really awesome. Okay, cool. So we talked about those who are super early in recovery, those who may have been in recovery for a long time, along walking with us on that path. We have friends, we have family, maybe spouses, partners, parents, children, all these other people who are around us as we're, discovering this new way of life. Do you have any advice for them as far as, what is it that they can expect on this journey, but also, what can they do to help, but also what can they do to take care of themselves and make sure that they're taken care of?
That's deep. Just because I feel like it's $1 million question in my experience. I've had the honor to deal with family members or friends that have a lot of support to give and a lot of concern to give to their loved ones that are fighting this battle. And it can be so emotional because of the helplessness that they feel. And of course, I can relate to the addict and their helplessness. I've been there. But to see the family member who wants to wave the magic wand to help their loved one get better and give them advice is something that I continue to struggle to do, because sometimes I think you've done enough and so much, it might be time to step back and see what happens. Or, I just don't know what the answer to that is, except to also have grace with yourself and patience and compassion for yourself, but to realize the importance of what we do and don't have control over, that we get taught in our programs on recovery all the time. We only have control over ourselves. And so I try to have that conversation translated in a way that they can understand, which is you can only control yourself, and don't forget to take care of yourself and protect yourself while your loved one goes through this journey, and let that community grab them and take them and help them walk through it. And you take a break for a minute if you can, but it just looks different for everybody in every different instance. My mother was an addict, and so I have been a family member of an addict and watched her as a teenager go through that journey herself. And I have 2 children that have watched me walk through this journey. So that's my very personal experience. But I don't know if that even answered the question. It's just a hard answer to give.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, all you have is your experience to give, and
Yeah.
that's what brings us here today is, your experience, strength, and hope, and everything that you have given to the community, and everything that you bring with you is definitely what brings you to winning an award for Peer of the Year. That's the stuff. That's the meat and potatoes. That's awesome. So one question here that's really kind of near and dear to my heart. Around COVID, I had I was kind of faced with this crossroads where I was leaving. I'm in tech professionally, so I was at this crossroads where I may have had the chance to step away from tech and go into recovery. It was a very, very scary thing, very scary prospect, and it was in 2021. COVID was still kind of up in the air, and ultimately, I decided to kind of stick out the tech thing and still provide services where I can, like here today, and being able to be active on the board with RecoveryPeople and still find ways to give back. But there's still that voice in the back of my head. It's like, you really want to go, you want to work in this industry, you want to give your, everything that's been given to me, I want to pay it back 100-fold if I can. So, you did that. You walked away. you successfully walked away from that long career and into something brand new. I mean, first of all, was that terrifying?
It was terrifying. Um, I smile because I was imagining your thought process on doing that. And I remember when I was approached to become an outreach worker for Oxford House. And I was very intrigued. I mean, I applied for it. I gave my resume. I was very curious about
Mhm.
it. What is that going to look like? And how much does it pay? And what would I do? And I had been a paralegal for a really long time, but it became at a crux, a conjunct, crossroads of my step work with my sponsor too. I was really struggling with trying to control the outcome of everything that I needed to do. It was early enough in recovery where I was learning this important lesson about control and letting it go. Um, and I had bills and mortgage and a job and kids, and everything was changing, and I was living in sober living too, and which I had never, which was terrifying for me too.
Right.
The best thing. And they offered me the job, and so I had to make a decision. And but I was confident after talking with my community about it that I needed to continue to surround myself. I was early enough in recovery still that I needed to build that support around me. I was living in sober living. I was about to get a job. If I messed up, I would lose really everything. And I found safety and security in that. I was like, okay, I need that. I had been a chronic relapser. I had tried so many different things. I needed more security, and I felt like taking the job in recovery would give me more security. But again, with the control thing and my sponsor advising me, quit fighting, let go of everything, I took a pay cut. I had to do a lot of work around what's really important. I made decent money for many years and got the house in the nice neighborhood on the corner lot with the pool in the backyard, and none of those things brought me the happiness that I needed. So let's get back to the basics and start with something very new, very fresh, very healthy. And I'm so, so happy that I did. I have entered a world that I almost can't describe to my previous coworkers. They would never understand. And it's amazing. But it was scary, but that's what change is. It's uncomfortable. And I could have always, my resume is still there. If it didn't work out, I could go back to it. So why not give it a shot? And I did. And here I am.
That's awesome. It's really great to hear a success story. And it really makes me want to ask more people about about basically the same question I just asked you, because it's that experience, strength, and hope that really gives people like me strength and hope to make decisions like that. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that. Do you have any other advice you would want to give out to anybody else who's interested in stepping into the industry?
I I think just give it a shot. I think it is one of those decisions. Almost everybody I've ever met that has said, I want to get into recovery now, are individuals with lived experience. With so much passion. And I say give it a shot and try it, because it's survivable. If either way, one or two things is going to happen. It's going to be great and you're going to stick it out and stay in recovery forever, or it's not going to work out and you're going to go do something else, and that's okay too. But at least you gave it a shot. And so my advice is do it. Try. Get in there. Get the peer recovery support specialist training. And even if you do nothing with it, it is that valuable, I think. It is that valuable. Everybody should try to get that education.
Yeah, and when I was facing that crossroads myself, that was the path I was going down, and I did take that training, and it was amazing. It was so cool just being able to just take that extra step outside of the rooms.
Yeah.
Just those one more thing to just add to my tool bag, into my toolbox, and I met all sorts of great people, learned all sorts of great things. It was wonderful.
It was.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really, really nice talking to you. Um, do you have any other closing advice you'd like to throw out there to anybody who may be watching?
I have this saying that I give to myself all the time, and it is stay curious, practice humility, and be brave.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And curious is definitely word of the day. We'll put that one on the calendar. The word of the
Okay.
day for Monday, January 8th is
Mhm.
curious. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope our paths cross again sometime.
Me
And
too.
yeah, it's been fantastic.
Thank you so much.